It is 42 past the hour. Joining us now from Greenville, South Carolina, Republican presidential candidate Dr. Ben Carson. Thank you very much for being on the show this morning.
Dr. Carson, we were just talking about Ted Cruz and what happened out in Iowa. Obviously, that came at a very pivotal time for you. We've had reporting that a lot of your supporters aren't ready to forgive and forget Ted Cruz for spreading the lie that you were dropping out of the race. How do you feel in South Carolina? Do you think it's a question of character that voters should look at?
Well, of course, it's a question of character. Character is also indicated by the kind of people that you protect and that you surround yourself with. And, you know, the situation in Iowa, you know, I'm willing to forgive Ted Cruz. You know, he said that he didn't know that that was going on. But I hope people understand that, you know, we had hundreds of volunteers, college students, and when they heard this news, they were just devastated. And they were out there, they were supposed to be, you know, helping people make up their minds, and they're sitting there kind of numb. You know, that is just despicable.
So what is your strategy moving forward in South Carolina, perhaps even to make that message very clear to voters who take values very seriously there?
Well, South Carolina is the kind of place where I love to come. You know, I understand the people here. I think they understand me. And I believe we're going to do extraordinarily well here. It's a matter of really getting out in front of enough audiences so that they get a chance to see me and hear me, as opposed to the way that I have been characterized by many in the media.
All right, Steve Kornacki.
Dr. Carson, though, if you don't prevail or if you don't do well in South Carolina, you didn't do that well in New Hampshire, you were a bit off the lead in Iowa. If you're not able to get a breakthrough in South Carolina, is that a moment you might reassess the future of your campaign?
I reassess the future of the campaign every day. So, of course, I will continue to do that. You know, I had no expectation of doing well in New Hampshire. And, you know, a lot of people who spent millions of dollars there and many, many weeks there didn't do that well either. I was able to foresee that, and you have to pick your battles.
Yeah, so let me ask you, as you go across South Carolina, will you be asking or demanding that Ted Cruz fire people on his staff that spread lies to try to hurt your candidacy and spread lies to help to gain votes in Iowa?
And I've already stated my opinion on that. He can do with it whatever he wants, depending on how he sees the situation. But the more important thing is, what will the voters say? They've had an opportunity to assess the situation. They know what kind of people do things. You know, historically in politics in this country, we have extremely ambitious people who will do virtually anything to achieve an office. I'm not one of those people, quite frankly. I do believe that there's such thing as right and wrong. And the people will have an opportunity. I will present them with a choice.
But how devastating, looking back on it, do you think those lies were that were spread about you dropping out of the race right as Iowa voters were going into the caucuses?
Well, they were devastating. You know, our internal polling and some external polling showed us doing significantly better than we did. But, you know, it's water under the bridge. It's not that many delegates. It's a long race. You know, it's a 9-inning game. We don't call it after the second inning. We're going to do just fine. And I think South Carolina is going to be the turning point.
What is the most important issue for you in South Carolina to drive home to the voters?
Well, there are several very important points, but one of the things that I think a lot of people are extraordinarily concerned about is the lack of honesty and integrity in our government. Nobody trusts the government anymore, and the government does such things as destroys the future for our children and our grandchildren. And they say, you know, those are just numbers, you know, the federal debt and the, you know, the fiscal gap. And they don't tell people what the truth is. And people don't understand that our financial foundation is crumbling. And then when somebody comes along and says, oh, free college for everyone, everybody says, oh, wow, this is great. They have no idea we're just marching off the cliff.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, Dr. Ben Carson, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you, Dr. Carson.
We'll check in with you soon.
We'll see you down in South Carolina. Best of luck to you.
Joining us